We are now in week 2 or week 3, I guess week 3 actually, of the conflict. Okay, so Qatar cannot export 100% of their, cannot export like at all. They're trapped, and 100% of their economy depends on exports. Which means that they can't last like a month. I don't even think they can last 2 weeks. I think Bahrain falls first. That's still my opinion on this. I'm just putting that out there. I think Bahrain falls before Iran does. We'll see where we land on that. Iraqi Kurdistan has now announced that there is no oil available to export. You'll recall that there was some talk that maybe the Iraqis and the Kurds could come up with some kind of a deal to export through Turkey. That is apparently now off the table. Something else happened in Iraq that I want to get back to too, but I can't remember what it was now, so I'll find that later. This is from Reuters. Saudi Aramco told its oil buyers in a letter this week that it had no clear idea which port it would use for April exports. This means that Iran, not the United States, holds the key to reopening the global energy market. The letter sent to Saudi oil buyers around the world said that they might receive oil from the Red Sea, but that they might still be able to get it from the Gulf. We know now that some of this has already kind of worked itself out, and there are like, I don't know, a bunch of boats going to through the Red Sea so far. I might as well call Iran to find out when this war ends so I can get my oil, said one regular Saudi oil buyer upon receiving the letter as war raged across the Gulf and Iran shut down the strait. The comment reflects the growing conviction inside and outside the Middle East that while the U.S. and Israel could declare the war over at any time, Iran will have the final say about the duration of what the IEA has described as the most severe oil and gas supply disruptions ever. 20% of global oil and LNG supply has been shut down. Petrochemical and power plants and energy-intensive industries around the world are suffering. Executives at Middle Eastern companies and their Western peers warn it will require more than just U.S. assurances of safety to restart shipping traffic and production, even if the fighting ceases immediately. And Chris Wright came out this morning on one of the morning shows and basically said, yeah, we're still not able to help people get through. Naval escorts would fail to normalize traffic unless the U.S. and Israel agree to terms with Tehran that include halting attacks and threats on shipping, a senior Gulf energy industry official said, adding that his tankers would stay put until Iran guarantees safe passage. If the U.S. and Israel declare victory on terms that Iran does not accept, then Tehran would want to show it has not been defeated by causing more disruption with mines and drones, said somebody from Chatham House. Drones also targeted the UAE's oil loading hub in Fujairah on Saturday, just hours after the U.S. hit military targets on Harg Island. I saw that Fujairah's back a little. They're able to get some stuff out again now, but I think it's probably less than it was. Iran is sending a message that there is no safe harbor in this conflict and Washington will not control the terms of escalation, said RBC Capital's Halima Croft, pointing to the possibility of proxy attacks from Yemen and Iraq and elsewhere, and the Yemeni Houthis are still saying that they're going to attack. The crisis has collapsed confidence in supply routes and exposed the region's weakness in defending its energy system, an Iraqi government energy advisor said. Repairs will take months and insurance for shipments will be more expensive and harder to find because of the perceived higher risk. Iranian attacks have caused shutdowns at refineries in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and Israel, sending oil and gas prices surging by as much as 60%. Even a quick resolution to the conflict would see weeks of market disruption, according to analysts, including Morgan Stanley. Global oil companies might be slow to return to the Gulf, delaying restarts at some fields and risking damage to reservoirs, which I have stated before, this is a huge problem and a huge risk. The closure of shipping lanes has also forced producers to cut output as they can no longer export their barrels. Aramco has shut production from 2 large offshore fields, reducing output from OPEC's biggest producer by 20%. In number 2 producer Iraq, production has dropped 70%, while in the UAE, OPEC's number 3 producer, output has halved, according to analysts. Total output cuts in the Middle East now stand at 7 to 10 million barrels per day, or 7 to 10% of global demand, according to estimates. Qatar has fully shut its liquefied natural gas production, cutting 20% of the world's LNG supplies, and told customers that they may not receive cargoes until May. Quote, "It is simple, it is safety, we cannot risk lives," said an industry source. So that's where we stand right now. I still say that that's really what this is all about. OPEC was not going to cut enough to satisfy um, the market, and that's why we're here. So watch this space. I'm just going to keep updating this as time goes on.